Miami after being in Maine for 2.5 months about. We had our holidays there. It was glorious. If you watched my last episode, it wasn't my best episode, let's be honest, technically, but it was, I don't know, it was a bear to get out. It was a bear. I just had too much pressure on myself. I have too much content and I waited too long and I made it into this whole big thing. I'm learning about YouTubing. You just gotta, make the clips, say your piece, put some thought into it and get it out. Anyway, today I'm back in Miami and it's kind of chilly here. So we're going to make Peruvian chicken soup today, which I love Peruvian flavors. And so it's pretty quick soup, but we'll do that. But while I'm making that, I can't even contain myself. Because if you watched my last episode, you saw that I mentioned a young entrepreneur who brings me great inspiration. I follow him. I like his whole aura and being, and I get a lot of good ideas from him. And I'm a business junkie, so his company and the people that work there, especially him, they're like a case study for me of what to do correctly in business, and they are really knocking it out of the park. So anyway, I have so much fun, keeping up with his business. But his company represent British company. They go all around the world really, but now they have a base in LA, and they have been coming to Miami, and they were in Miami last weekend for a big sporting, I won't say it right, Wallapalooza or something like that. Really like jacked up, like sporto people compete in these, events. Anyway, they were there, and they had, their merchandise and whatever. But when they go to these cities, they organize a 5K run for any run, really, any ability, anyone who wants to come out, and you can. Run with their group, and it's, for me, what's really important about these things, and they do it beautifully, is the collective energy. I really believe in collective energy, and that so anyway, that's a whole nother episode. How funny is it? It's not funny, because I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicity. So what a synchronicity that I was just talking about George, and I'm George, I'm a big fan, and now he's here. And 247, their group, is doing their 5K run where I run every single day for the past 4 years. What is happening? And I met George. I didn't just meet George. We had a really great walk, talk, run. We did more talking than running, I'll be honest. But it made my year. I told him that. There's no secrets here. And he'll probably be a little embarrassed, like, oh, this, mom going on and on. Anyway, because he's 30 and I'm 60. But we share some things in common. We have kind of a similar mindset. And so everybody blasted out. Let me just give you a snapshot. Everybody blasted out. These people are in really good shape. They blasted out for this 5K run. It was supposed to be what they call sexy pace. Well, the sexy pace for me is like, they were like, boom! They shot out like a bullet. So of course I'm in the back, which is fine, no big deal for me. I have to run my own pace, and I have to find my breathing, and if I'm going to get through a 5K, it's not running like a rabbit. So I went out a little too fast, I got out of breath, and I was hot, and so everybody else was way ahead of me, and George was waiting at a certain point before we made the Brickell Key loop, and I'll put up a map of where we went in Miami for any of you are interested. He was standing there waiting, probably waiting for the last person, who was me. But the fact is, he waited. And then I got up to him, and he walked and ran with me the entire little course, the 5K. I told him it meant everything to me, and I still can't believe it. And it's moments like that where somebody takes the time you know, he's a busy guy. He's running this, you know, group and trying to talk to everybody. Took the time to just, maybe he saw, you know, I needed help. I was slow. I was tired. Whatever. He took the time to chat with me and walk with me and did the whole course with me, and I will never forget it. It meant everything to me, and just that beautiful time shared together and what we talked about was so memorable. And this week, I have, right after that, the following week, I ran every single day, 2 miles every single day, and today I ran a 5K for the first time. I haven't run a 5K since I got here from New York 5 years ago. I'm going to attribute that catalyst, that burst of inspiration from George. So you don't know how many people you're touching, and sort of how far your generosity of spirit can go. Keep it up. I'm grateful, and you know I shared that. I'm not going to babble on about all of the intricacies I shared, but I'll put a little picture of my special gratitude place. It was unbelievable, awesome. Thank you. Okay, now that you've heard about my very exciting synchronicity in Miami this week, I want to dive into my recipe I'm going to show you today on how to make the Peruvian chicken soup. I'm using a recipe by Gimme Some Oven. I'll put a link to her sites. Great recipes, love them. So here I am. I'm starting by getting out. I like to get all my ingredients out, know what I'm working with, see if I'm missing anything, and it's better to be organized like that. It's like a streamline, let's call it. But so I'm going through the fridge. I've got an onion, poblano pepper, or in my case I'm using a green pepper, some garlic. I've got my chicken. I'm using chicken breast because I have that defrosted this week. You could use any kind of chicken here. I usually prefer to use something with a bone in, like chicken breast with a bone in, or chicken thighs. Or for that matter, you could use a whole small chicken here, because we're going to be simmering that chicken to make our chicken stock for the soup, as well as poaching the chicken. So anything would work here. So, okay, I got my limes out, got my potatoes, got my garlic, and guess what? I'm missing the most important ingredient in the Peruvian chicken soup. With all the moving, I either threw out some things that were old, or I took them to Maine, but my very special ají amarillo paste. It's a yellow pepper paste, a yellow pepper from Peru, and they make it into a paste for flavoring, and it's commonly used in soups and stews, and especially in ceviche for their tiger milk, and I don't have any. I should have checked that right away. So, okay, give me 5 minutes while I place my Instacart quick order. Miracle of miracles. I love living in a big city where I have Instacart. I also love living in Deer Isle where I don't have Instacart, but you know, I see the positive in both places. So let me just get the order in for ají amarillo. Okay. Orders in, over to Publix, should be here within the next 45 minutes. And during that time, I'll start by organizing my workstation. I grab my favorite knife. I'm going to start poaching the chicken. I put, I guess, about 6 cups of water, a little bit of salt, a bay leaf, some peppercorns, some whole peppercorns in there. And we're gonna poach the chicken for about 30 minutes. And that is going to give us cooked chicken, just nice and tender, that I'll pull apart with a fork. And we're going to render out and have this beautiful chicken stock, which is going to be the base of our soup. So a two for one. It's a very quick and easy way to make chicken stock. It's not bone broth, but it's going to be perfect for this recipe because I don't need a really heavy depth of flavor on my chicken stock here, because you'll see I'm going to be flavoring the soup with many other ingredients. Now let's get to our chopping. I find chopping to be very meditative. We'll call it active meditation, actually, and extremely relaxing. And when I'm ever sort of anxious, or feeling stressed or out of balance a bit, I can always bring myself back to center and get focused and relaxed and happy again by just prepping food in the kitchen. It makes me feel good to be productive, save money, feed people I love. It's just one of those things. I know some people find chopping and cooking extremely stressful, but I do not. And once you get into it and you see it's kind of mindless in a way, but it's productive and gives you time to relax. Peppers are a large part of Peruvian cooking. They're really the base of so many recipes. I guess the climate is perfect there for growing certain peppers. I'm going to be incorporating a green bell pepper here. Usually poblano might be the pepper of choice here, as well as a jalapeno or a serrano pepper. I think I have a jalapeno I'm going to be using because I like that sort of low heat in the background. This is not an overly spicy dish, and a lot of Peruvian cooking is not overly spicy, but it's got a nice heat in the background. So we'll get our peppers chopped up here, and then we're going to add in potatoes and peas. I'll chop up my potatoes just in half. I'll chop up my carrots, give it a sweetness, and lots of good veggies in this soup. I was missing an ingredient, and thankfully we live in Miami with Instacart again. Hi, so I'm doing my YouTube. Thank God for Instacart. I don't know how I live up in Maine now without Instacart. And I love Maine, and I love the fact that it doesn't have Instacart. But here in Miami, it's easy to get right back into the everything you can get at a moment's notice. Bubbly, cheap stuff. Bubbly for the weekend. But the most important thing, I'm making a Peruvian dish, and since I moved everything up to Maine, all my cooking things and spices, I didn't have my regular main ingredient for Peruvian cooking, ají amarillo. I got the wrong one. Mirasol. What the hell is that? Dried yellow pepper paste. Ají. I needed my yellow pepper paste from Peru. Ají amarillo, and that is what's going to give it that beautiful color, that warmth, that flavor that you associate with Peru. I actually love when mistakes happen. In this case, I got ají mirasol instead of ají amarillo. It looked the same. I just looked it up, did my research. It is also made from the same Peruvian yellow peppers. It just has a more intense and deep flavor than the amarillo, which I'm used to. So this little mishap, was a happy happenstance again. I've learned something, and I think it actually might be better with a deeper flavor. So there you go, PSA on Peruvian sauces. It's delicious. So let's get back to our soup now. And also I didn't have any rice, so I needed some rice to put in our dish. Let me put the groceries away and then we'll do the soup. Yep, look at the burner. What on earth is going on with me these days? I've got the wrong burner on, and my bowl of peppers is sitting on the hot burner instead of heating up my oil. Sue, pay attention. OMG. Okay, the light bulb's gonna go on sometime. Okay, thank you. Okay. This is what happens when you're about a whisper away from being 60, but I caught it. Let's move on. No harm, no foul. Start by heating 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil and just enough in the pan we're going to be softening the peppers and onions, so only about 5 minutes. And while those are softening, I'm just shredding up the cooked chicken. It's been a half an hour, and the stock, we've cooked the chicken. It's just tender and nice, easy to shred with your hands or with 2 forks. soften the peppers and onions. I've got the jalapeno, the green pepper, and the 1 small onion. We're going to saute those, just soften them for about 5 minutes here. And then, as soon as they're softened, that's when we're going to add the garlic and ají amarillo paste. You don't want to add the garlic too soon because it will burn, and the ají amarillo paste will caramelize pretty quickly. So after 5 minutes, I add the garlic and ají amarillo paste in, and then we're going to cook those ingredients together for about another 2 minutes. And this is really where it's caramelizing and it's bringing in the flavor of Peru here. This is where it really starts to come together. And their base of the Peruvian cooking is a lot of peppers and garlic and onion and just blended together. It's made from this paste is made from a yellow pepper grown in Peru. It's dried and then made into a paste, and it's got a slight heat to it, and even a slight bitterness, I'm going to say, but it's in a lovely way. And it gives it that beautiful color, that ochre sort of yellow color. I look up to and I watch and I like to get to know special entrepreneurs and restaurateurs. And as soon as I saw Mission Ceviche, and I worked there for a short full day, I'll show you a little clip. I met the most wonderful people, the chef and owner, Chef José Luis Chavez, as well as at the time Alonso Toltok was working for him, and he spent the whole day with me showing me how to cook we did a slow stewed chicken and pea dish over rice. We made several different ceviches and tiger milks, and I learned all about him, and he was Mr. Peru. I'll see if I can find a picture several years back. Just an amazing human being. And after my long day working with them, I had a beautiful love of Peruvian cooking, and sharing information, sharing experience, just being together, cooking in the kitchen, talking, chatting, learning. It's everything to me. Remove the nice Peruvian pepper mixture from the heat, bring it over to your Cuisinart, or in this case, we're going to use our Ninja, and we're going to blend that well till smooth and mix it with chicken stock. You know, I've had this Ninja for Emma, my niece out there. How long? I got one for you and one for me at one Christmas. That had to be over 10 years ago, didn't it? It's still going strong. I love my Ninja. I make all my smoothies, my cachava. I love it. Use it every day. Okay, so we're gonna pour the rest of the chicken stock, about 5 cups at least. There's probably 6 cups in there still. Back into that Dutch oven that we cooked the first ingredients in. You see all that nice flavor on the bottom? That's all gonna get picked up and incorporated into our soup. So, wasn't that great though? We made the chicken stock just so quickly in 30 minutes. So this really comes together so fast. Pour in your shredded chicken right back into the stock. So this is where we're assembling our soup. All the hard work now is done. The chopping's done. The making of the sauce is done. Pour in your carrots, your potatoes, your peas. Oh my God, it looks so good already. But what we're looking at here is really just a nice basic chicken soup with rice. Just how you'd make any chicken soup. So the key is going to come, the sort of piece de resistance will come after we've simmered this basic chicken soup. We're going to put the lid on partially with the rice in there and the stock and all the veggies and the chicken, and let these flavors come together. We're going to simmer it for about 30 minutes now with the lid just partially on so it doesn't boil over. One thing I forgot, I can't believe I forgot it. I love to add, and this was not in her recipe, but this is something I like to do. I'm finely mincing the stems of the cilantro because that is going to impart, such great flavor. I happen to love cilantro. Peruvian dishes love cilantro. So that's gonna go in early, not like the leaves. I'll put some fresh leaves in at the very end too, to impart a nice fresh flavor. But I love to put the stems in for the most flavor. And here I'm also adding about 2 2 tablespoons of cumin, ground cumin, to give it that beautiful smoky depth of flavor that you come to love in Peruvian cooking. These flavor profiles of Peru are really to my liking. I love cumin, I love cilantro, I love lime, I love the pepper, the hot pepper flavor, and that ají amarillo sauce. I just love it. So these are the flavors that I work with quite a lot. So here we're going to simmer this all 30 minutes, partially covered. And then now that's done. 30 minutes has gone by. It's looking good. And you're just doing about 30 minutes so that you're really getting the flavors melded together, but you want to cook the potatoes and the carrots especially need to be softened up. Not mushy, but cooked through. So now it's time to add the piece de resistance, the Peruvian sauce that we blended earlier. Look at that. Look how it's changing this soup just right away. It looks like a whole different soup. Gorgeous color, thickness. And now I'm going to also add in my fresh cilantro leaves, a healthy handful. I think that that's really important. Absolutely love fresh lime. Really cuts through the chicken, sort of the flatness of the chicken soup flavor. It gives it a brightness, and limes are, of course, used a lot in Peruvian cooking and ceviche. And so here, this is gonna really brighten up the soup, give it some nice acidity. Okay, so you can use 1 or 2 limes depending on how juicy they are. And then you probably wanna garnish with some more of that cilantro and lime. I'm putting in a nice I'm putting in a nice, about a tablespoon of salt. I'm a pepper monkey. We all know that. We've seen that in previous recipes. I use a lot of black pepper because I like it. And that is it. Give it a good stir around. Make sure everything is blended nicely. Oh my God, look at that. That looks so good. It's a cold evening here in Miami. This is going to taste so good. I mean cold. It's all relative. It is probably 60 degrees out with a little breeze. Patty and I are going to dine al fresco out on our terrace and have this lovely soup as soon as he gets home. So my job is done. I've got the cooking done. I'm just going to scoop it up. I don't even have my serving ladles here in Maine. I use my little measuring cup. It's fine, it works. Oh, doesn't that look good? What a nice texture. Full of nice chunks of chicken and all those vegetables, and the peas really give it a lovely flavor as well. Kind of like a pea soup in a way, a little bit. A nice garnish of fresh cilantro on each will go a long way. Could give it another crack of pepper if you want. You might add a little section of lime for people that want to put a fresh lime on theirs at the end. But voila, bon appetit. Time to serve it up.